हे गाइस, कैसे हो आप सब। मैं हूं आपका दोस्त शशांक। वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट वीडियो आई एम शूटिंग। टुडे आई विल बी स्टार्टिंग अ न्यू सीरीज़ ऑन प्लेसमेंट्स, जहां पर हम लोगों से बातें करेंगे, उनके इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे। सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट फन एंड नॉलेज। सो मिलते हैं वीडियो में। हाय बालाजी, तो हाउ आर यू?
I'm doing great. How are you, Shashank?
आई एम डूइंग ग्रेट। सो थैंक यू फॉर joining, for sparing some time for the interview. So today's session is to students who are aiming for Bajaj Auto will be benefited. So Balaji, so let's start the session. First of all, tell our viewers about your academic background.
Hmm. I was studying mechanical engineering, and my most of my interest was in CFD and design. So I went through it and looked for projects and interviews in those. My CPA was about average, I can say. It was not bad. It was not too good also. I had a CPA about 8.57. Uh, my interview experiences for Bajaj was that I had to go for a unpaid interview at a company. Yeah, at a company called Simulations Labs, where I had gone through and done an interview of CFD, analyzing how the efficiency of a winch changes and all. With with that, I had another project from our professors, the professors at IDBHU, wherein my projects were really related to the automobile engineering sectors, where I had done projects on fuel injectors. So I think that really helped me in these placements.
Okay, that's wonderful, Balaji. So now can you tell me about the recruitment processes that involves in Bajaj Auto?
The recruitment processes started with a written exam. It had consisted of aptitude as well as technical written exam. Both were of MCQ types, and out of four, one option was correct, and there were no negative marks as far as I remembered. I think that the aptitude was around 40 to 50 questions, and the technical round was around 30 questions. For that, I would say that the best way to prepare for these would be for the aptitude question, go for India Bakes. That is where I prepared myself, and I think that because we all enter into IIT, aptitude questions should not be such a big deal. For the technical questions, I would say that it is better for you to prepare generally. Do not go too deep into each and every subject, but uh, glance at every subject and be prepared for any questions from any subject. That is what I would say. Next, after the written test, we had first a technical round, which consisted about 15 minutes. The time will vary according to how the panel will be for the next year and all. After the technical round, we had our HR round, which also was consisting about similar times, 10 to 15 minutes. The timings varied, and how many people or in which order people got in was also different.
Okay, so that's great, Balaji. So I would like to know more about the test. So what was the pattern of the test and which domain areas were most?
Uh, for the pattern of the test, we had aptitude question. I would say that it was more based on what to say, the interest and all the the mathematical things. I was expecting more about the pattern matchings and all, because the intern test of Bajaj had these pattern matchings a lot, the mirror images, pattern shifts and all. But I found only a little bit on the pattern matching and patterns and all in the placement interview. So I would say that if you had some pattern of aptitude in your intern, do not expect something similar for the placements also. It will be something different. That's why I was talking about preparation in India Bix. And if you just glance over all the papers that the India Bix provides in each and every topic, I think that that will definitely set you surely set you for a good score in the aptitude section. For the technical section, it was more on thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, and a lot of jumbled questions were there. Many sectors came in. Many of our subjects came into play that we had learned in our, particularly in our second year of mechanical engineering. Uh, and these questions, I would say that these were definitely not the toughest question. Obviously, in fluid dynamics, you will not be asked for solving any Navier-Stokes equations or any problems like that. We were asking about some general questions like the flow, if I remember properly, about a tank filling question in which inlet flow rates and outlet flow rates were given. So such simple questions will be given for the technical rounds. And I believe that our resume also plays a good role in getting through this written part. In the interview, both the rounds started with asking me to tell about myself, and I was all like, because our seniors and all would have suggested, and we would have seen that many people saying that to differ by starting to say what to say our own family backgrounds and where we came from. So I did something like that, and I went on talking about my resume without actually going deep into it and telling about what were my interests and all, why did I develop that interest to them, and what were my projects, how did I get one project to another project, and how was my connections with them, what work did I do. But in the end, both of them, both the technical as well as HR round, actually asked me for what is your name, where are you coming from, and all. The next part of the questions were starting from uh, not just completely relating to my domain, as in my domain was completely related to CFD. If you look at my uh, internships as well as my projects that I had done in the college, as well as some of the workshops that I participated, uh, they are all mostly based on the CFD. In fact, I cannot. I can only say that one of my experience was not based on CFD and CAD modelings. What type of questions I was asked was, how would I use fluid dynamics for automobiles? And the questions were midway, meaning that what the company expects of us and what our experiences are. They wanted something in the middle, and they questioned me on how would this affect our company, or how would you, or how would your subject be helpful to us. Something like, when will you consider what to say, heat exchangers, liquid coolers in automobiles, and not just directly how would you design heat exchanger when you would come here, something like. Because of that, we do not actually think of it too much. The issue comes here in the fact that not just the design part of it matters. They also seek answers from us from the points such as, how would this design affect day-to-day lives of many of the peoples, because this product is going to be delivered to many of the people, right? So they expect an answer in which they also try to include expenses and maintenance charges and all, so convenience and all. Later on, both, since my profile, my resume was more so directed with projects rather than internships. Most of my projects were also, I mean, one of my projects also produced a paper in CFD, which is also going through presentation currently. So they had some issues with the retentionship that we know that many companies suffer from. So most, even in the technical round as well as in the HR round, I had the issue with why not MS. So be prepared for those kind of questions if you are really having good projects and you are looking for some kind of paper presentations and all. If you had those, be prepared for those. And in if I remember in my HR round, I would say that around 2 to 3 minutes was spent on just this itself. Around the total 10 minutes that I had been in that interview, around 2 to 3 minutes when this was why not MS, and since you have such a good resume, why don't you prefer for an MS or MBA? Uh, Other thing I would say is that the technical round was what to say? It was pretty nice, good, decent, and it was sticking towards our own major what to say, our major interest, and not just randomly on many different subjects. Because as you know, Bajaj as a company would not just want CFD as their main profile. They would also might require structural engineering for a different engine components, how those will work out. And as far as I've heard from my seniors, Bajaj, although it hires for a general GTE profile, I've heard that Bajaj actually puts through the GTEs into two different branches. One is the R&D sector, for which projects that are completely depend on design actually helps a lot. The other sector is something called as production and engineering, wherein procurement of the materials and how the design is actually automated and all is taken into account. There is also another sector called as which deals with data and all, about the how many people are working, what are their wages and all. This is what I've heard from my seniors. And so if you have a project that is really oriented towards R&D, I would say that it is better that you prepare in that perspective, and be prepared for questions like why not MS. And if your project is more oriented towards management side and more on towards implementation of a project, and something like how did you if you have a physical project, meaning that if you had made something, if that is your project, then I would say that it is better that you prepare on that side of things, and about how you would set up some of the industrial plannings and all.
Okay, that was great, Balaji. So next question is that many students are asking whether we should go for industrial internship or research internship if we are aiming for Bajaj Auto. So what do you have to say on this?
As I've already said in the previous 5 minutes, it is
Which will be
it
more
goes.
beneficial if one goes for industrial one or research internship?
Uh, I believe that it might be better for you to go towards a research internship, because as a GTE, right, they are expecting us to do some designs, right? Many of our also, an industrial internship might also provide you with these knowledges. And if you had an industrial internship, Bajaj might select you for the production and engineering side of things. If you have an R&D internship, I mean research internship, it will be looking really good on your resume and all, because you have done some designing, you had set some parameters for something. And if it's more so on the automobile side, I think that it will be even more valuable to them. I think that because I had two of my projects that were just based on fuel injectors, which is efficiency of fuel injectors and design of fuel injectors. That those two projects, I believe that those two projects are the projects that really push me and help me to get this placement opportunity. So I think that the research projects are also really beneficial. But if you have a research project, be prepared in the HR rounds to be grilled for retentionship for the company.
Okay, so that was great. Balaji, how was your experience in HR round? Was it light or was it too tense? Or... or what?
The HR actually clearly saw how tensed I was and began with comments to actually ease me down and cool me down during the start of the process. It was actually pretty chill. Uh, Many questions were about how what are my interests and all, and what would I say as an accomplishment that I have not mentioned in my resumes. The HR round was pretty chill. uh, the interaction between is also so really great.
Okay, so at last, Balaji, what advice you want to give to the juniors, whether it's second years or third years, who are aiming for Bajaj Auto?
One advice that I would give is that, based on my experience, I would say just don't look for an internship. As we all know that we would think that we would want to score a good internship at the end of the third year, and that internship will carry us through. Even though that is there is some truth in that. I would say that just sticking to the concept of internship is not actually healthy. uh, the company does not want to see your experiences just in terms of a label as an internship. So the advice that I would give is that there are many professors in our college who are currently working on various fields that in mechanical engineering, and if you could go through and ask them for certain projects like I did, to my professor, Professor Anubhav Sinha sir, uh, that will actually help you a lot, because getting a project from a professor would allow you to work on that project for a semester, and you can actually do that from the beginning of a second year, beginning of the first year even. So it is best to develop interest from your earlier years, and then just do not stick on wait for the internship, and rather push yourself, start it early, and get projects. I'm not saying that if you started late, you will not have any hope. I myself started only at the start of third year, near the end of the first semester of my third year, with asking projects from professors. I think that that is really helpful for us in securing a placement in Bajaj.
Okay, Balaji. So that was a great conversation. Thank you for joining us and share your experience. That would be very beneficial for the upcoming students who are aiming for Bajaj Auto. So thank you, Balaji.
Thank you.
Thank you.